Hey y'all, I don't know if anybody's gonna come on. I'm trying to position myself so I don't look as crazy. Woo, this hair. Anyways, I am sitting here tonight working on a puppet for a client, and I don't know, I don't like Spanish moss anymore. So I don't like working with it. I don't. It gets everywhere. It was how I was taught to make poppets. I'm making one for this client to fix themselves when, hey everybody, and I'm just like really, I don't know, making poppets is just like, it's it's not difficult, but it is, because you got to pay attention to how you're stitching this thing, and it's difficult because you're sewing with, you know, felt. Well, is this felt? Yeah, yeah, felt. And you're I'm studying. I'm sewing with felt and yarn and very very big doll needles. And I don't like sewing with these materials, but it does make the best poppets. And then, in the middle of all this, I'm probably gonna knock down my phone getting to this stuff, Spanish moss. I would love ever put in your poppets. I really hate Spanish moss, and this is what I was taught to use in poppets. It's really natural, but it sheds. This is Spanish moss, and it sheds. Hey, Katrina, I miss you. I'm gonna see you next weekend, right, boo boo? And then you'll hear my daughter in the background because she's listening to the final countdown. I think that song is like older than me. She's special. She's a little old lady. Every time we pass a Cadillac or a Lincoln on the street, she's like, woo! She loves Cadillacs. She loves big ass old man cars. She's definitely her father's child. But I'd like some suggestions from the peanut gallery here. I got to leave like part of this poppet open, and that's gonna be interesting. Hoping. I'm wondering if I think I'm going to leave it open at the top. Yeah, that'd be better. You stick all sorts of things in through the top. I usually leave the side open, but I'm going to leave a space in the top open. So, like, if you buy a poppet from me, I put some thread in it for you, but you're going to need your own dowel needles. And, you can put whatever you want. Poppets are sympathetic magic, so somebody's personal concerns. And a poppet, everybody always, you want to call them poppets, you want to call them voodoo dolls. And yeah, they are part of magical traditions, not just voodoo, but probably that was their origin. What a lot of people don't know, and I think I've made just as many poppets for healing and for love as I have made for cursing. So a lot of people don't know that you can do that. And I took this poppet all the way to Chicago with me, acting like I was going to be able to sit down and have the time. And they're hard to sew because you're sewing through two layers of felt, and you're using regular like knitting yarn in order to do so. So you got to push hard, you got to pull hard, and you got to use thick needles. I tried to sew a poppet on my sewing machine once upon a blue moon. That does not work. But you know what? Poppets and other things like this are best if they're handmade anyway. So, when I'm making this, I'm not charging this because it's for the client to charge. But if, luckily I sat here with my daughter tonight and we laughed and stuff. So it was really good that I'm making, a positive doll and I'm having a positive time. I think that's really important with magic. Like, people say don't do magic when you're angry. Bullshit. If I'm angry about something, then that's gonna make my magic more powerful. If it's good, magic, and it's benevolent magic, then of course I'm gonna want to be happy when I'm doing it. So tonight I'm happy, but I'm exhausted because I swear, it's like if you ever looked on TV and you saw that the devil and the angel talking in somebody's ear. Oh, this is always fun when you lose the end of your and it's very hard to thread yarn into a needle. But you know, you ever see those things in cartoons where the devil and the angel are talking on your shoulders? Well, that's what happens to me when I get ideas, because the angel was like, well, look, Liz, you just got your black ass back to town, you know, and you got about 10 orders sitting here waiting for you from the holiday. Are you really sure you want to start a church? You know, in the midst of all of this, but Spirit wouldn't let me wait. Okay, and my daughter's texting me. She always does this, and I told her I was going on Facebook Live. So right now, I'm going to professionally ignore her while I talk to y'all, because this is mommy time. I don't even know what she's talking to me about. I know what she's talking about to me about, but it's really TMI. I always used to tell her that at 9 o'clock at night, I was off the clock. That would be the time that she should have her ass in bed. Stop asking me for things and about things. This child asks more questions. Dolores, my girlfriend from college, is on this live, and Dolores knows how many questions this damn child asked me when she was a child. Dolores nicknamed her Mogadishu when she was my daughter has had so many nicknames, but our family nicknames are Big Crazy, which is me, and Little Crazy, which is her. And, you know, if you spend enough time around us, you will know that. So, in any case, I just wanted some people to keep me company while I finish sewing this poppet, and I'm going to finish getting this order ready for this client. But I'm looking just to holler at you guys to see what type of suggestions you have, questions you have, things you'd like to see me put in the store. So let's get to talking. Somebody, you know, say something. I wish we could have like two-way. That's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start posting Zoom chats. And then I'm going to record them, and then I'm going to put them on YouTube. That way we all get together and we can all chit-chat. Because this is boring, you know, just talking to the wall. So, y'all just sitting here listening to me prattle on. You know, I ain't really got nothing so special to say tonight. I just wanted somebody to talk to while I sat here in the room trying to get this poppet made. Like I said, it's been a long day. And it seems like I just got home yesterday, and then I realized, well, I did get home yesterday, really, Tuesday night. So, is that Tuesday night? Yeah. So, just trying to get everything caught up. It's so funny. I had a client. I don't even know why people do this. You know, one of the first things I learned when I worked with my mentors is that you never, ever, ever, ever irritate your spiritual worker. Now, y'all know that I probably ship faster than any occult supplier you've dealt with, unless it's like somebody big like Indio who don't put roots in their oils, okay? Who just has colored water that they pull off the shelf. Interestingly enough, I'm really kind of pissed off at Indio, because me and my best friend, Dia, we went and drove all the way across town because I was a woman on a mission. I had certain things on certain days that I was going to take care of, and one of them was a huge candle run. I'm like, you know what, two of them. I bought new jewelry for the store. I'll be getting that stuff up during the week. But my second goal in going to Chicago, well, the big goal was my girlfriend Lisa gave me a sublimation printer, which is going to enable me to make designs on my computer that are not vinyl, that are printed that are printed, so I can pretty much make any damn t-shirt I want. One of my first ones is going to be Magical Motherfucker, and you tried it. Yes, I am. I just haven't had a chance to do that. Katie Cotton gave me the idea for Magical Motherfucker, so she will be getting a free t-shirt for that. But that was the biggest reason why I went, was because of the printer. And then, secondly, I wanted to go and buy as many fixed. This girl, I swear to God, I am not approving your apps right now. I'm going to kill her. Anyways, I'm just going to ignore her until I finish talking to y'all. She'll get over it. I just got to have a new damn app. She knew I was going on Facebook Live. So first of all, any suggestions? What do you guys put in your dolls, your poppets? I put Spanish moss in mine, but I really, probably why I don't like making poppets that much, because I really detest Spanish moss. It gets everywhere. Yeah, I like that too. So I'm going to be making some really cool shirts, but I have to buy the sublimation ink, which is not cheap. Interestingly enough, it's just a regular Epson printer, but there are a few printers on the market that are Epson that print with the sublimation ink. My goal really is to get a top feeding printer that prints photo quality, because I tried to make those pagan planner stickers that I showed you guys earlier, and while they look really good on the computer, they don't look as good as I'd like printed out. So I'm gonna have to get a nice printer, and I'm just trying to figure out really seriously where I'm gonna put it in this office. I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to give up my sewing table. I don't know. Because I got the sublimation printer, I'm gonna have the regular printer, and then I'm gonna have a top feeding printer. Although I think that since I don't use a fax anymore, and the sublimation printer can scan, I think I might eliminate the printer that I have from the mix. But cider rosemary. You want rosemary cider or cider rosemary? I've actually never heard of cider rosemary, so if you could tell me a little bit about it, that would be awesome. I'm thinking about putting some herbs and roots online, but the problem with putting herbs and roots online on your website is that sometimes they're hard for even me to get for my formulations, and I would, I've got High John on there, but I would hate people to get used to ordering something from me, and then because of whatever shortage, they not be able to order it from me. And so that's what I'm thinking about. But, I try not to keep roots too long. I try to use them up. So if I've got some stuff that's still good that needs to be used up rather quickly, I'll probably, this rue that I have, probably need to buy a new bag. So I probably need to sell that off. But selling roots by the bag is a pain because all roots weigh something different. And so you can't just say, I'm going to sell a 1 ounce bag. That was my first mistake when I made working roots. I will advertise it as 1 ounce. And then I realized how much 1 ounce of particular, very fluffy, very light roots there are. So Duffy was one of my first clients, and she got lucky because she got broke no more that was charged under a full moon. And there was a lot of roots in that bag. So then I switched to 1 ounce containers because you can still get like 2 or 3 candles out of it. But, to sell 1 ounce of certain amounts of roots is ridiculous. So that's another thing. When you're looking at the weights of things, and if you see something's a quarter an ounce, that may be because it's an extremely light weight. It may be a good quantity of a root. But it may be the fact that, hey, Najari, it may be that there's a lot of the root. Oh, here comes Jezebel. She gets her ass up on this table again tonight, y'all. I'm telling you. But, for example, I ordered 4 ounces of something. Oh, of chamomile. And basically it came in the same size as the bag, like a pound of rosemary and a pound of lavender would come in. So understand that when you're buying some of these things for your own spiritual practices, that you really cannot always look at the weight of things. You have to look at the fluffiness of a root. Hello, Melody. How are you guys? So that's one thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So if you guys have any suggestions on the things that you like to stuff puppets with, because I'm looking to change this material. I detest Spanish moss. I'm not even gonna sit up here and lie to you. I don't care how traditional it is. Back in the day, if you look at Punkett's pictures of old Conjure workers, they used to make paper doll poppets. So I can make a poppet out of pretty much anything I damn well please. And this is going to be my last bag of Spanish moss. Oh, you're not late. We just chose Jezebel. See? Look at her. Don't she look crazy? Look at her eyes, y'all. She ain't got good sense. What do you want? Don't you get up there. Don't you do it. You better stay your ass perched on the back of that chair. I can't stand this cat. Look at her, Cynthia. Come get this cat. Come and get her. And if look. Oh, see, now you want to love and stuff. See, now you're going to have folks saying, oh, like you're sweet and shit. But they can't see my dining room chairs that you've torn up. No. Now you can try to love me if you want to. But I know you. She's torn up every leather surface in this house. Pets and nice children. Pets and small children. That's why you can't have things. Nice things. This cat is a pain in my ass. And she knows she's on camera. Because this cat don't bother me. Well, she does bother me. She tends to... Really? she tends to get up on my computer or perch herself on the sewing machine, and and then she posts herself on the newel post on the stairway in the foyer, and it is hilarious. Let her be great. I would not be interested. Get up. No. Hey, get away from the mortar and pestle. Hey, get down. Get down. No, get down. Get down. Don't everybody like no cats. Stay away from the implements. This cat, ooh, and she hollers at the door. Poor Vanetta. She out sat for us while I went to Chicago, and this cat is, and I don't let her in my room because I have a velvet bed, and she scratches up everything. And I told my daughter she has 1 year to go to college and then go get an apartment so she can come back and get this cat. Because I'm not taking this cat to tear up nothing else. Cat is tearing up my $2,000 couches. Now, mind you, they're a few years old, but they ain't 5 years old yet. And these two cats are scratching on my couches. So I'm not buying no more furniture. One of the reasons why I bought the couches that I did was it would be easy to make slip covers. Because I knew it was going to be inevitable. You know, they say that declawing cats is cruel. I had declawed cats all my life. When you declaw a cat, though, you have a commitment to keep it and take care of it. You can't just put it out, put it outside. You shouldn't put any animal outside, but especially one that you've taken their claws. But I've heard that it causes all kinds of discomfort, behavioral issues. And if there'd be a cat that would have behavioral issues from being declawed, it would be Jazzy. But, my cats, I had cats for 18 years, and most of those years were prior to me having a child. And I wouldn't want no more cats, but she wanted a cat, so we went out and got this geriatric cat because I figured, Marky's going on 14, y'all. She don't look like she's dying anytime soon. But I figured by the time the kid graduated from high school, Marky will have passed Rainbow Bridge. But then Jezebel had to come onto the scene. A stray we picked up off the south side of Chicago should have left her ass there. So, in any case. But what do you guys stuff your poppets with? Do you guys make poppets? I'm so glad she's gone. Y'all can be happy to see that cat. She worries the hell out of me. Didn't you all make poppets? Because I'm interested in claw covers. Girl, please. They laugh at claw covers. First of all, I'm not putting claw covers on these bitches. Jezebel has to be damn near sedated. The last time I took them for claw covers together, I had to leave Jezebel there, come back. It cost me $300 because that woman did a psychological evaluation on this cat and prescribed her Prozac. Okay. Oh, cotton. Okay. And, I should do a poppet video. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll have somebody film me while the Black Witch Circle is here this week, because that's what we're going to do this week. We're going to do poppets next weekend. I forgot to tell them that, so this will be the first time they're hearing about it. So we're going to do poppets. So every month we try to have a particular witch activity, learning a new skill, talking about, some type of theory and magic, those types of things. But I got derailed. I don't even know what I was talking about. Talking about cats. Oh, God. Yes, girl. Prozac. But let me tell you about this cat and Prozac. Okay? So I'm a very big believer in antidepressants. In fact, they make this stuff called crazy water that they get out of lithium springs in I guess wherever they have lithium springs. Like, they used to have hot springs, and they used to have people go sit in them when they suffered from different emotional and physical ailments. So, Prozac had to come from somewhere. I am a big proponent in balance between Western and holistic medicine. As someone who has suffered from clinical depression my adult life, well, probably my entire life, I take an antidepressant. So when she said Prozac, I wasn't tripping too hard. But this is what got me, was when she gave me the pills and these things called pill pockets, and we put the Prozac in said pill pocket, thinking, oh, it's a tasty treat, she'll eat it, she'll eat her medicine. She ate the pill pocket and left the pill in the bowl. And so the vet is talking about having them compounded into cat treats, which I'm wondering, will she even eat either? But I tell you what, I've never seen a cat like this before in my life. No, I do not have pet health insurance. It's about $20 a month, but it would be so worth it for her to calm herself down. Now, I used to just keep her drugged for real with catnip. One other cat hates catnip. Okay, I had a whole tree for these cats, a scratching post made out of a real tree, a kitty condo. Ended up selling it on Facebook because nobody wanted to use it. But she wants to scratch up all my leather chairs. Okay. So she ate around the pill pocket. She didn't eat the Prozac. She remains mentally ill and untreated. She runs through the house. She does very strange things. Hi, Mama Star. Hi, David. You just missed Jezebel. Jezebel's about as bad as Houdini. Mama Star. Mama Star has a rooster named Houdini, and Houdini be on all types of fuckery. And that's the same way with this cat. She runs from, now I know she's playing with spirits. She's either playing with spirits of babies who have passed on in my family, and definitely probably the spirits of my dead cats. Because the spirits of my dead cats, I can be standing at the sink and feel a cat rub up against me and look down, ain't no cat there. So, I definitely know I got a lot of pet spirits here in my house. Definitely, because I've got 2 of their cremains here in my house. But, hi, Mama Star. But that this cat has tried to run up the curtains from my altar before, and the cat can very clearly see his curtains. Where's she gonna go? She can't. She's too fat to hang on. This cat's crazy, y'all. This cat is stone cold crazy. But I wanted to just see if you guys had any questions. We had a really cool question and answer session the other day. Oh, and by the way, Mama Star's books are for sale in my store. So if you guys are interested in checking out some of her old style Conjure books, feel free to check out the bookstore, the link to books, and biglistconjure.com. And also they have a new store where my products are being sold, Conjure New Orleans, down in New Orleans. And I'm so happy, Mama Star, because I've not seen this many black readers advertised from any business down there in the French Quarter. In fact, I haven't seen that many at all. Valerian, to give to the cat, I don't know, it stinks. CDB cat treats, I wonder if that's what she gave us the last time, but even those wore off. Like I said, I could just keep her on catnip, but I wish that medical marijuana was legal here, because I just smoke on her. I mean, my other cats, they used to get contact hives. They get the munchies, throw up. It was really strange. Stop getting high around my cats. It was prepping me for having kids. Can't get high around your pets or your children. So, in any case, but this cat, she's special. But, like I said, a few weeks ago, we had a really cool question and answer session. So, if you guys have any questions about anything, either me related, root work related, the first African church of ancestor veneration questions, any questions that you have, feel free, go ahead and ask them. Y'all awfully damn quiet tonight. If y'all ain't understand what the title of this Facebook Live was, keep me company. I'm waiting for y'all to ask a question, because I'm just sitting here. I know y'all got questions about something. So I'm going to hang up on y'all. I'm going to call one of my girlfriends. Najari will talk to me if I call her on the phone. Y'all ain't going to talk to me? For real? For reals like that? Y'all tired. Y'all tired. That's your problem. I'm tired too. That's why I'm trying to get you to talk to me. Oh, let's talk about this. Often I am called to make custom oils for people. And I would love to know your suggestions for an oil that a woman can use in her relationship to get her significant, we'll talk about that in a minute. Mama, finish this thought. Get her significant other to communicate better. Okay? So if you all have some suggestions for that oil, because right now I'm a little tired. I'm a little fresh out of ideas. That would be awesome. In fact, if you give me some ideas, really good ideas, I'll make some for you and send it to you. The books. Okay. You want to know about the first church of ancestor veneration. Okay. That's a work in progress. Last year, a friend of mine that I grew up with, we both grew up in a very weird church. My aunt was at the Black Witch Convention, and she and I had not seen each other in about 30 years. So it was one of those color purple moments we saw each other. We really cried. But we had lunch, and she was like, you know what? There's this thing where we are reaching back, and we are, as we should, dutifully serving, worshiping our ancestors who are in Africa, who are in Haiti, and that takes us way, way, way back at the base of the religious evolutionary ladder. Those are the primordial, before anything else was, spirits. But when we start looking at things like the new church, like the Christian church and the Catholic church, they call on saints. Saints who have performed miracles, or miracles that have been attributed to saints. Some people, and I wrestled with this, take exception to the name church. But I think that it would behoove us to at least initially be named that, because it's going to assist us in our not-for-profit status. I have a lot of ideas about what the church could possibly do. We've got a lot of community service things. I see people like Mama Star go out into the communities, go to the hospitals, lay hands on babies that need healing, lay hands on the sick and the elderly. We can start doing just literally. What I like is like taking things and turning them on top of their heads. Gloria Naylor did that in Linden Hills with Gothic traditions. Taking some of these church traditions and molding them into something for us. Now, Renetta was telling me the other day, that we do things that we're not aware of. She said that the tradition of ushers having their hands behind the back, were that they couldn't steal anything if you had one hand behind your back. And see, the black people were church ushers, even in white churches. They were the servants for seating people. So that's very interesting. So taking some of those traditional church things, changing the meaning of what church is. In fact, one of the best, a little bit, no, stop that. One of the best, some of the best churches that I've ever attended actually said they were trying to give a new definition to the word church, to change what that means to people. When I went to Unity churches, they started talking about tithing. And I was like, well, wait a minute, I thought y'all was different. I'm going to roll right up out of here. But what they were talking about was how they paid tithes based on their members' contributions to the community, to the food bank, to the LGBTQ alliance that helped protect people and fight for rights, to the United Negro College Fund. They were making donations from the monies their members contributed out in the community. So beyond their general operating expenses, with no Creflo Dollar, with no jet, it wasn't like that, and got a decent living. And then the rest of that money went to the operating expenses of the church. And then what was left went to the community, which is what really should happen. One thing I can say about the church that I grew up in, they did not allow their members to collect welfare. The church helped the members pay to eat, to live. They sustained them. And so my friend Mayat and I went to that church when we were young. And we went and had lunch, because I just trailed off of that story entirely, at a really good vegan restaurant in Baltimore. And you're looking at an omnivore who used to believe that vegan was synonymous with bleh, but actually I've been eating at a lot of lovely vegan restaurants. And she just started talking to me about our African American ancestors, people who have been martyred for us, people who have died in our service, you can just name them, and then people who have died at the hands of the police unjustly. Okay? Oh, that's lovely. Oh, Erica, I like that. Oh, wow. Now, all of those for communication in love, because that's an oil I have to make for somebody. I have to make one that's going to make their lover communicate better with them. So, my client, thank you for being so patient, because I'm almost done with your order. And then I've got a few more to get out. I'll get those all out tomorrow. But back to our ancestors. Okay, thank you, Erica. And I will probably put some other things with that. And if you inbox me your address, I'll send you a bottle. But we are not venerating our ancestors. You know, when you in Africa, the belief is that you work continuously to keep your ancestors' name on your lips. And, you know, I'm thinking about the few times a year we hear about our ancestors, Black History Month, you know, or their birthdays, like, you know, Martin Luther King, you know, that people don't even remember Malcolm X's birthday, okay? People don't remember the day he was murdered. People don't remember Medgar Evers' birthday. People don't remember Ida B. Wells. Maya Angelou, she was born on the 4th of April, and the only reason why I remember that is because it's the anniversary of when Dr. King was murdered. But the thing is you don't speak of your ancestors. You don't tell their stories. Number one, we lose them, okay? Thank you, May 19th. Number one, we lose them. We forget their names. We forget what they did. You know, you think about our African religions, most of them are oral traditions. Thank you, Erica. You all look in there, Medgar Evers. That July 3rd is Medgar Evers' birthday. See, it just passed. This man was shot in his driveway in front of his family. And I think that was after his house had been bombed. Okay, I believe Martin Luther King's house was bombed as well. You know, and then we got to think about the women who stood by these men. They weren't always, you know, the most faithful men, but they were still really good men nonetheless. And they laid their lives on the line for us, women, men, all over the place. You know, I think about J. California Cooper. I think about Octavia Butler, because Octavia Butler is preaching. Okay, y'all need to read her books, especially Parable of the Sower, because the things that she writes about are, you know, first read Wild Seed. I promise we need to have that one. That might be our first like book club book for the First Church of Ancestor Veneration, because it's about shape-shifting and it's about the slave trade. Shape-shifting, slave trade, science fiction. Get it. Octavia Butler's Wild Seed. She interspersed slavery a lot in her work. She was amazing. You know, and you think about, you know, she fell and she hit her head and she died. Yes, Wild Seed. That's it. That's my favorite book by Octavia Butler. You know, so we're going to start looking at our artists as well as our scholars. You know, I keep saying, if you're a doctor and you are Black, where is your shrine to Dr. Charles Drew? I mean, I'm thinking every practitioner of medicine who is Black need to have at least a picture of the man hanging up. And, you know, people have no idea about Benjamin Banneker's many patents and inventions. George Washington Carver, the things he did beyond the peanut. Deep diving, because think about this. Think about the Catholic Church. In the Catholic Church, there is a saint for pretty much everything, you know? St. Anthony, you lose something. Lost causes, St. Jude. Black folks, St. Martin, okay? So, why, and there are, now let me tell y'all, I'm about to show y'all some Black saints of the Catholic Church. If that is your inclination to use saints, that you need to be calling on them, because there's probably hundreds, maybe more, okay? You know, bringing these people to light. I even learned things about Sister Carolyn Dye that I didn't know Mother Carolyn Dye. You know, I don't know why there's not a picture, and at least I would have a shrine, but at least a picture of Madam C.J. Walker in every single Black hairdresser's, you know, store. And so as we start to, learn different things about ancestor veneration from our ATRs, you just start to realize what there's a hole when it comes to our people here who came so far. And now it kind of seems like, so for me, and I don't want them to die in vain, but when we're still being literally lynched, by law enforcement, by the justice system, by the economic oppression, then what did they die for? And I think that sometimes people don't even remember what they did. They take what I feel like I'm rich, I'm not balling by any means, but the fact that I live in a house and I have one income, well, do my job and my workings, but I can buy a house. I can go and plop my black ass down in a neighborhood full of white people, with the exception of Trumper over there. My black neighbor who is a coon. But I can do that. And nobody burned a cross on my front yard. Nobody, told me, N-word, get out. If anything, they've kind of like, hi, how you doing? But nobody was rude. And I'm going to have to attribute that to my ancestors who paved the way for me to be able to do something like this. So I'm trying to figure out ways to pay them back. I'm trying to figure out ways to my kids very well. It was hilarious. One time she would do a family tree. And for those who don't know it, my great-grandfather was my grandfather's slave master and his father. My grandfather was born in 1897. He was born after slavery, but his mother was a slave. So he continued to rape his mother after slavery. And to the point where my great-grandmother just left the plantation, left her own kids, just left them because she couldn't take it anymore. But, and that's one of those things where every ancestor ain't for you. So I would not be putting my great-grandfather on my ancestor altar. Just a thought there. Don't invite every ancestor into your house, because every ancestor doesn't mean you any good. So, but I owe them. I've lived my life in reverence to them. And as I'm running my mouth here, I need to finish stuffing this poppet. I owe my life to them. I owe everything I have. I owe it to my spirits. I owe it to my gods. I owe it to my ancestors, because without my ancestors, I wouldn't be here. The ancestors are my connection. People don't seem to understand ancestor veneration, but that's your intercessory. If you're not a Christian, you don't believe in Jesus, well, there's got to be somebody running between you and God. In your Law, and even your Law, your ancestors are right there with them. Those are your agents of change. Those are the people that make it happen for you. People who don't even think they practice magic, when they do an affirmation or when they put something into the air, or like when the Bible beaters in church say, believe it, receive it. So you're speaking these things and they're listening and they're doing for you. So now we got to do for them. And one of the biggest ways, and I've learned this from any religion, one of the ways we can do for them is to emulate them and to emulate what they've done. So whether it's through creativity, like music, somebody posted Louis Armstrong today, and I love him. He's been often, by the respectability police, pushed down in the annals of Black history because, they considered a lot of what he did to be cooning. But you know what? That man was trying to survive. He lived in a land where he could have been strange fruit. So people don't understand. My grandmother used to call my grandfather the white folks nigga. She used to get so mad at him. But my grandfather was born in 1897. She was born in 1922 to fairly wealthy landowners, but they were Black, but they had money. My grandfather was born on a plantation, the son of a slave. You learned how to smile so that you can live. There's a poem about that Maya Angelou talks about hiding behind smiles. So, we have all of these ancestors who are powerful forces, who died often in agony and unjustly. We have people like Eric Gardner and Michael Brown and Sandra Bland and Rekia Boyd. These ancestors need justice. Not going to get it in our American justice system. So how do we find justice for those sacred ancestors, those people who died unfairly at the hands of the oppressor? My answer has always been success. You know, I would love it if we could have a few states to ourselves where we could just go and flourish and take care of our own, because I don't know any black people that want handouts. Everybody I've ever wanted just wanted a chance. So when people talk about, well, what's the church going to do? We're going to do the stuff that a church is supposed to do. We're supposed to spread the word, right? Okay. We're going to spread the word about the people who died for us and why we owe them a great debt. We need to know who they are, what they did, and how to serve them. And often how to serve them, because so many of them serve the community, is to follow in their footsteps. So there will be a large service organization part here. Okay? I see a lot of people joining fraternities, sororities, even ATRs, and you just don't see them in the community at all. I know a lot of alphas, AKAs, that live right here in my suburb, and they never get together and do anything in their name for the school. Maybe they're doing it downtown in Columbus, but we got half our schools are half black out here and half white. And the community's 24% black, but I mean that's because we got a lot of white retirees. They're not in the schools. They're not. When I was, my daughter was in first grade and in kindergarten, up until she went to second, when she went to school that didn't let parents volunteer as much. Every Monday, I was in the classroom, not working with her, because my baby knew how to read fourth grade books in first grade. But I was in there teaching her classmates that know how to read. And you want to know why? Because most of them were immigrants. Most of them came to this country, and their parents, they could not speak English. And I was teaching those babies how to read. We need to have book drives. We need to have school supply drives. These school supplies be kicking my ass. I can only imagine how hard it must be on someone who doesn't make the income that I do, and they're trying to make sure that their child feels good, goes to school with some brand new notebooks and a decent book bag. I don't know if you've been to any of these book bag drives lately, but they give out the cheapest garbage they can find. So yeah, there's going to be a ton of things we can do, and we're going to welcome any and all suggestions. You can message me. We are going to have some spiritual education. People don't know how to connect with their ancestors. People don't know how to set up ancestor altars. So we're going to be having panels on Zoom, and I can have up to 100 participants in those panels, where the members of our church, our study group, can come on, and it will be recorded for people who can't make it. Same thing with services. If you are a spiritual person and you have a message that you want to share with us, especially as it relates to us remembering our ancestors and social justice and our mission as black people, because our success is the only way we're going to succeed is put it in our hands. I learned that at a young age. My mother was an alcoholic. I didn't meet my father till he was 13 years old. By the time I graduated high school, my mother was in a convalescent home where she remained until I was almost out of graduate school. And it was caused by alcoholism. Almost died. Had to learn how to walk, talk, do all that stuff again. Had a respiratory arrest. Completely stopped breathing. Yes, mental illness awareness. Getting people with PTSD, people who have been sexually assaulted, people with clinical depression, people with schizophrenia. Changing the landscape as far as how we treat our brothers and sisters with mental illness. Having a mental illness doesn't make you disabled. Do I look disabled to you? I suffered from clinical depression for years. I went to therapy, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't need this. But my body was misfiring. And when we and the therapist finally sat down, talked about, she's like, well, it's very clear that you know what to do, but you still can't seem to do it. See, therapy is when you go in and you're learning coping mechanisms and all that. I know I do all that. But when you get up in the morning, you're depressed and you have no idea why you can't fix it, or you're having an anxiety attack, you have no idea why you can't just fix it with a coping skill, often medication is necessary. So we don't treat people with high blood pressure, and there's plenty of us with that, like they're pariahs. So the mentally ill shouldn't be treated any differently. Well, the black community, you have to understand, people don't understand, having manic depression, having bipolar, having a mood disorder, personality disorder, it doesn't make you weak. But you have to understand that is the way that the oppressor has defined any type of illness. That if you're sick in some type of way, you're weak. So, it was the utmost and most paramount that we not appear to be weak. Because, the only way we survived here is the survival of the fittest. They fired Jimmy the Greek a few years ago for explaining how white slave owners bred us, because people who were physically unable to keep up died off. So you did end up with us being extremely physically strong. Okay? But the body requires, when you're extremely physically strong, it also requires a great deal of exercise. Otherwise, you're going to end up with things like high blood pressure and diabetes from eating a slave diet and from not getting the exercise that your body type needs. Okay? This girl's just singing like she know how to sing. She can't sing. What? No, I can't, because I told you I was doing Facebook Live. Oh my God. Anyways, we need to teach people about healthy eating, economic responsibility, giving back. All of this stuff, for me anyways, contributes to my spiritual practice. It doesn't take away from it. It's my life. So, yeah, I don't eat healthy perfectly all the time. Yeah, I'll go get me some meat nuggets every now and then, those disgusting little pieces of mashed together chicken. Okay, I like them every now and then. This is not about being perfect. That's another thing. Let's change church. Because church is someplace you go to get healed. Church is someplace you're supposed to go to get fed. Church is not someplace you go to be shamed. So, let's change church. So, I have asked a number of people that I greatly admire. There's a few more people, like my mambo, who I would love to ask to be an elder, but they're just so busy doing it in their community. My mambo is very, 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 very prominent helping people in her community. And so, and I plan to go to Haiti a couple times a year. As long as this business sustains me to make money I'm making, I'll be able to afford airfare to go to Haiti. And we need to do mission trips. You got the Christian church going over to all of our countries, poisoning the minds of our people continuously with this colonialism, when people who are in African traditional religions really need to be the ones that have their asses over in these countries helping people. What the American Red Cross, how many houses did they build in Haiti? 5? Or was that Louisiana? Anyway you put it, they take the money. I told my daughter, oh, no, you got to do volunteering for the National Honor Society. One thing you ain't going to do is volunteer for the Red Cross or the United Way. Okay? No. And I told her if she tries to go to the military, I'm going to run over her feet. Because I refuse to let my child fight for a country that won't fight for her. Now, I can't even lie. The military saved a few of our brothers' lives. It was either go to the military or go to jail. Okay? But it is not something that I'm advocating for my incredibly brilliant child that I've raised in the right way. And, my child's been woke for the longest. Decolonization missions. Let me tell you something. My daughter had to do a report when she was like in 1st and 2nd grade about George Washington. You know how they tell all those lies about how George Washington couldn't tell a lie and he chopped down the cherry tree and all this other stuff. And somehow she moved into the 4th of July, okay? And she was like, yeah, but that wasn't about me because all my people were still slaves and being killed. And then she jumped right back into the rhetoric. I'm like, oh, the people going to call me. They're going to ask me what I'm teaching my child, and I'm going to tell them the truth. You know, and Helen Keller was a communist. Read the book Lies My Teacher Told Me. Okay? You know, we just have some amazing people, both living and dead. When I say living and dead, I think about Beyonce, what she said in her song about her children. You know, we've all had a tremendous amount of struggle. And it would be nice. I had a client tell me today that I don't want to struggle. And I told her, well, then you don't want to live. Without a certain amount of struggle, without earning what you've got, you won't appreciate it. I learned that the hard way. I have to stop just giving things to people. I can't tell you how many times I have opened my home to people and given freely. No, you don't have to pay rent. You just have to help out, you know? And it's never really worked out. So I'm not going to do that anymore, you know? But I can give in different ways. And so what we need to do is we need to, you know, if one more black person talks to me about going on a cruise, there's something about being in the bottom of a boat that fucks with me. Being on the top of a boat, but definitely the bottom. I'm not going on cruises. I know so many Negroes wasting their money on cruises. Man, go somewhere, do something for somebody. These Christian churches are going over to these African countries and polluting the minds of our people while we sit back here and talk about our Orisha and our Lawa. Now, what sense does that make? You know, healing houses, holding crack babies. How about we have an adoption fund? Do you know how many black people want to adopt our own children but cannot afford to do so because adoptions have been set at $25,000 a pop to start, and the reasons is that is so white people can get their hands on our children, you know? And I can't even be too angry about that, because I would much rather see our children in a good home than in an orphanage, than in a foster home. But even adoption is set up for genocide. I know a lot of black kids have been adopted by white parents, and thank God I'm seeing more articles where they're woke and they're trying to teach their kids because they don't want their kids to die. Okay? So that it forces them to learn about everything we've been through so they can understand where we've been through, where we are, and where we're going to raise black children. Okay? That's probably the one reason why I never really dated white men, because I can't be explaining every damn thing to them. And I have this, like, the thing about being in a boat and reading and seeing the movie Beloved and shit like Django Unchained and, you know, Roots. They're just certain mental mind blocks that I'm not really going to get past. So, but I see us doing these things. I see us, just on out. I see us going to things like hedonism and group orgies and Freaknik and whatever weekend they had down there in Atlanta where everybody was getting their rocks off. And that's fine and good, you know, have fun. Mardi Gras, you know, but man, you know, maybe one of those years, you could actually take that plane ticket, take that hotel money. You might not even have to pay for a hotel if we can arrange host families, and just go somewhere and help somebody. That's the goal. Help people here, decolonize minds here, feed people here, educate people here, and do it abroad, because we're all over the world. We were all over the world long before we were slaves. We were in this country long before we were slaves. And give education. I'm a teacher. I'm a professor. I'm a former English professor. I design online courses for a living. And I know what it takes to give somebody the course, outcomes, objectives, how you structure a course, how you make sure somebody learns something properly, how to give them accurate information. And I strive to do so. People get mad at me because I correct them in their posts. I correct their grammar. But I think it's really important that we don't keep telling the same stupid urban legends. Because when we're finally telling the truth about something horrific, nobody believes us because we're still telling the same old stupid stories that we've always been told. So there are too many horrific things that we can honestly report on rather than stuff that is a hoax. And there are too many ancestors that we still have to seek justice for. So it's going to be a combination of things. Spiritual development connection to not only your ancestors and your background, and I encourage all of our church members to get DNA, and hopefully maybe we can get contributions for people who can't afford DNA tests, because don't even trip about the government having your genomes, because they've already got them. They got them the day you were born. They got them when they pulled your blood. Trust me, they have your DNA already. But we will get to know who we are and use that power of our ancestors, our highly elevated ancestors, to keep going, because that's all we've ever done. But as you see, the more and more we got in the church, it got washed away, till it was a shadow of its former self. And you got folks hooping and hollering and jumping around in church, and they don't even know what spirit they're possessed with. So, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. Thinking about it makes me tired. I'm 48 years old. I probably won't even get to see all of this work be done, realistically. But wouldn't that be amazing that we plant a seed to change people's minds about what it really means to be a church? We'll be able to teach non-Christians. We'll have the opportunity to teach Christians how to really behave like Christians. That's what I want to see us do. So, I talked a little bit about this last night in the group. Talked a little bit more about it today. I'm going to meet with the elders hopefully this weekend or next week. Haven't had a chance to set up that meeting. Oh, excuse me. I think it's time to go to bed, y'all. I got to be up at dawn. So, I finished the doll. Well, the client has to finish the doll. I finished it as far as I can. And I got that recipe, and I'm going to see if I can, I'm going to take a look at those correspondences. And I thank you, Erica. And I'm going to be sending you don't forget to IM me your address. I'm going to send you a bottle when I make it. I'll make 2. And then add the formulation, because we really need one for helping men to communicate. Because I'm telling you, that's another thing. I posted an article about that especially black men, we've been programmed to hide their feelings. Men, period. But it has incredibly devastating effects on black men because of the levels of trauma that they experience in this world. And I don't care where you are. Okay? Yeah, me too. I needed to tell myself some of this. And so we've got to start really teaching emotional things that like mental health and proper processing of emotions and anger and meditation. I've got a sister named Sharonda who does guided meditation. So, and if other people here do guided meditation, piece of string, let me know, because I would love to open our services with guided meditation. When you go to the Baha'i House in Chicago, there's not even a sermon. People just sit there. And there may be songs, but they meditate, and they're left to their own spiritual beliefs. And I thought that was really cool. Hi, Reza. So I thank you all for keeping me company while I finish this puppet. I hope that our little conversation tonight 1 second. Can't have needles on the floor when you have pets. Sewing needles, that is. I'm not diabetic, but I don't have those type of needles in here. You know, gives people a little clarity about what we're doing here. These are my ideas. I haven't even met with the elders yet, and all of the elders said yes. And I was so thrilled with that. You know, some of them take pause at church. My own brother read me the riot act for using the word church, but I think that we are in an excellent position, to change what church means to people, to change what missionary work means to our people. Not to come in and kill and destroy, but to come in to feed, to nourish, and to educate. Because really, that's what it should have been in the first place. So we have a big thing ahead of us. I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to do all of it in a day, but if each one of our members in our church can start and work with other people in the community and even other members of the church in their community to do service projects. I've dropped another needle on the floor. To help people. Just think about the amazing amounts of change that we can make. Just in small acts. That's what I want to do. So anyways, love, peace, Afro Grease. Y'all stay black. I'm going to bed after I get this doll needle off the floor. Good night.